Welcome to the Light of Sirio podcast. My name is Dori Fari and I will speak with a realized spiritual master about his views on life and the topic of spirituality.
Hazur Maharaj Sant you're my Sadgurus, I bow down to you. Hazur Maharaj Sant you're my Sadgurus, I love you. Hazur Maharaj Sant you're my Sadgurus, I adore you.
So now this is the first episode of season 3 of this podcast, when we again are going to talk with Master Sirio about his personal spiritual story, because in season 1 we could listen to your captivating story right from your boyhood, how you got interested in spirituality, how you set on a spiritual quest following a sudden spiritual awakening, how you traveled to India via land and met Master Kirpal, eventually from whom you received the holy initiation into the path of the masters, or Surat Shabd Yoga, Sant Nada Yoga. It has many names. And then we could reach to the end of this physically relating to Master Kirpal, as in 1974 he went into his great final samadhi, Mahasamadhi, and left this world, left his body. And in the last episode we had with us Norman Sharpos, other initiate of Master Kirpal, 97 years old. Together you remembered how it was for the Sangat, for the seekers, when Master Kirpal left the body. And in this last episode you also told us about your last meeting with Master Kirpal, and also how a vacuum was created in the Sangat with his absence, with his physical absence, and how many powers began to move and possible successors came up. And you told us about going to India again and how you met Takar Singh in the Savana Ashram, but eventually we know you met Sant Ajaib Singh. So please tell us about how from Takar Singh you got to Sant Ajaib Singh. Did you go to see also other possible successors of Master Kirpal?
Even before I went to see Takar Singh, I met another successor of Master Kirpal, who was the Italian representative. I talked a bit already about this. And with this man I had much more of a connection than with Takar Singh, obviously, because he was the group leader and I was representative of Master Kirpal, so I was attending Satsang with him twice a week. So we were quite friends. And just because he was Italian, he was no less than Takar Singh because he was Indian. Or my meeting with him was not, my dealing with him, my relation with him was not less important. It was much more important because we had a very long and close relation. I think he was a good man in his own way, but his way and his ways did not combine with my ways. We had different mentality, we had different approach to the teachings and to the philosophy of the masters. So I had respect for him because I knew that he was a very special initiate of Master Kirpal, but I could take him only as a representative of Master, not as a master. I knew and I perceived so many times the master power very strong with him, but could not be compared in any way with what I experienced with Master Kirpal. One can be a master, but tuning in with his energy, tuning in with his personality, with the way he delivers the teachings, it's something else. You may have this tuning in, this connection, or you may not have it, or have it to a certain degree and no more than that. So this affinity of personality and of being specially made for each other is very important, also with the master. Just like it is so important when you relate to a person romantically or sentimentally, it is as important or much more important, this affinity with the master. So with Master Kirpal I had a total affinity, and my perception of his power or the divine power working through him, it was so very special, so very powerful. So with this Pierfranco Marcenaro, I didn't have the same kind of thing. That's why then I decided to go to Sant Ajaib Singh, because there were many aspects of connecting with this person that didn't satisfy me, didn't fit with me. So I went to Sant Ajaib Singh hoping that there also I could also find the same tuning in, the same coming together soul to soul as I had with Master Kirpal. Because my experience with Master Kirpal was very special and very powerful. So I went to Sant Ajaib Singh, and as I explained in the other podcast, was nothing like this. He was a nice man, nice satsangi, but could not be for me the successor of the master, because my experience with him did not match at all with what I had experienced with Master Kirpal. I could say it was much better with Pierfranco than with Ajaib Singh. So then I came back from India. It was May 1976, after visiting Ajaib Singh, and I felt very depressed, very, very anxious also about how my life was going to be, and how my adventure on this path was going to continue. Of course, I went on doing my meditation because I was very steadfast in that, and I was very disciplined, and deriving all the motive for life from my spiritual practice. Because at that point, for me, life in the world didn't mean anything. What meant for me was connecting with the master power and experiencing the bliss and the intoxication that comes when we tune in with the master power. We set Guru power, God, into expression power. So there was May. Time went on. I tried to live it the best I could. So I was not attending Satsang in Milan anymore because Pierfranco had become the master there. So I didn't want to relate with him. I began having a small satsang with some friends of mine. There were some 2 or 3 satsangies of Master Kirpal who also didn't feel the same connection with Pierfranco. So I met with them from time to time and we meditated together. At the time there was being published a magazine in the United States by a certain person called Russell Perkins, in which he would publish talks of Master Kirpal, people's experiences with Master Kirpal, questions and answers, this and that. So I kept receiving that magazine. I always liked to read Master's talks and see some photos which were published there. In one of these magazines, which was I think June or July of 1976. This magazine was being published monthly. There was news from Raja Packaging in which he said that he was going to publish another magazine called Sant Bani, in which the message of Sant Ajaib Singh would be published to the Western disciples of Master Kirpal. I asked for a copy of this magazine, but months went by and nothing came. So let's say it was June or July, then August came, September came, nothing came, nothing arrived. So I think it was October or maybe November even, that one day, along with my brother, we came back home from work and we opened the mailbox, and there was an envelope which was the same as the envelope in which the Satsang means the magazine relating to Master Kirpal was being sent. So I thought it was a copy of Satsang. But then when I opened it, it was not Satsang, it was this Sant Bani magazine. There were some pictures, photos of Ajaib Singh. There was a questions and answer published in it, and a satsang given by Ajaib Singh. I saw these photos and I felt right away very fascinated by the face of this person. My brother too, he also was kind of enthusiastic about this person. Then we sat to eat and I opened this magazine and I began reading something, translating it from English into Italian. And as soon as I began reading something, it was like if you have a window open in a room and all of a sudden a very strong wind comes and begins, making papers fly in the air and bring a strong blow of air into the room. So in the same way, it was like a strong wave of energy came into the room, very powerful, right away, as soon as I began reading the very first lines. And I became very intoxicated. And I must say, my brother also, he also had similar experience. I was amazed, I was surprised how this happens, how come this is happening. There must be something special here for me. So I went on reading. I don't know if I read the whole discourse or whatever it was. But anyway, this very strong upliftment came, very special atmosphere. When we finished this reading, I and my brother were wondering, how is this, my brother? Very, very, very special. This is very special. So there must be something here. So the next thing we did, we brought this magazine to our friends. We had to meet with one of them or two of them. And we brought this magazine and we showed it to them. Oh, they were also kind of enthusiastic. Maybe something is happening now, something will happen. Life will come back again, and beauty and connection with the Master, living Master will keep going, will go back to it. So I also translated something to them when I could, when there was the proper occasion. Of course, they were also liking the message, and so we decided to have satsang on Sunday together. And I will read the full satsang, which was printed in the magazine from Ajaib Singh. On Sunday we met. There was right away a very strong, deep, powerful energy in the room, in the house. It was in my house. Then I began reading, and the more I read, the more this power began strong and very, very strong, really. It was really like going into your bones and into your cells, very, very powerful. And by the end of the satsang, we were all like drunk, really, so intoxicated, all of us, that we couldn't talk, we were just very uplifted. So we decided that here there must be something very good. So we thought maybe we write a letter to Ajaib Singh and we ask if he can go visit him, because Virgilio, my brother, Romeo, and Lorenzo also, they decided they would like to go to see this man. I was resisting. I was not so easily throwing myself into this, because I had been already visiting Thakur Singh in India just a few months before, and it was very disappointing. So I didn't want to repeat right away another disappointment like that. I wanted to be really convinced that this man is really meant for me. So they decided to go. The three of them, Andrea, Galanti, joined. They became 4. Then Osvaldo Valcamonico joined, so they became 5, convinced that they wanted to go. And none of them spoke English. I was the only one speaking English. They began saying, you have to come, because otherwise how do we manage? You have to come and translate. So I said, well, I will think over and see. But from within I was really being pulled and really wanting to go. But rationally I was resisting. I really wanted to be sure that I was not going to face again another disappointment. So we wrote this letter to Ajaib Singh, and after some time, maybe a month, the answer came back. And he said, very nice, he said, very happy to hear your letter. Master Kirpal's initiates for me are like my body, something like this, or part of my body. And if you want to come to visit me, you are welcome. I will be very happy to meet all of you. Sending all my love to all of you. Something like this. This letter was really very, very special. I never in my whole life, up to now I can say, never a letter had such an effect on me. And not only on me, also on the others. So much that keeping this letter in your hand, it meant to feel so good and to feel so blessed. So we were like telling to each other, give it a bit to me. And so we kept moving it from one person to the other, shifting it. So at that point I decided, okay, I will go. I will come with you. This was, I think, we were already in January. And we decided to go February.
But was it 1977?
At this point we were already in 1977, yes. Mm-hmm. So came January, and February would be the anniversary of Master Kirpal's birthday, 6th of February. So we decided, that's an auspicious date. We go on that date. We didn't know anything about the groups. They were going to Rajasthan already from the United States and some from South America. But there was already every month since, I think, 1976, end of 1976, that groups were going to regularly to Rajasthan from the United States. We didn't know anything about. Otherwise, we would go on the dates in which we will meet with them and then proceed on from Delhi to Rajasthan. But we went much before because we didn't know about the dates. So as I said, we started on the 5th of February. Mm-hmm. We took a flight from Milan to Baghdad. It was with Iraqi Airways. This was before all these wars started. We stopped for one day in Baghdad. That was the plan of the flight. So we were in a hotel, and we just went on meditating the whole day. We had a very long satsang and very long meditation sittings, and it was so blissful and so easy to meditate, just like when I was with Master Kirpal. Just the same. It was just like being in his presence. Or even on the planes, on the flights which we had, I was full of his presence, really, just very saturated with this divine energy. At some point we took a trip in Baghdad. We visited several places. We met a boy, an Iraqi boy who was very nice to us, and he guided us through the city. We visited some nice places. And then the next day in the morning we took the flight and we went to Delhi.
So it was the 6th of February, was it?
Yes, the 6th when we were in Baghdad, yes. Very, very special. So we arrived in Delhi. We went to this address which we were given, which was Rajkumar's Baga home, called Papu. He was the translator of Ajaib Singh from Punjabi to English, because Ajaib Singh didn't speak English. We went to visit them and they said, oh, you came so early. The group is coming, let's say, on the 20th. Or 25 even.
So 2 weeks before them.
Yes, 2 weeks before, at least. So where are you going to stay now? Well, we said if you know any hotel, we can go and stay in the hotel. So they said, well, for the moment you can stay here with us for some few days. So we stayed for some few days, but then we became very close with them. They were very welcoming and kind to us. So they eventually said, you can stay here with us until the group comes. So we became very close with the family, this Baga family.
But didn't you have a back flight?
Yes, we had a back flight with Iraqi Airways.
What was your original plan? Because then it seems that you had to wait 2 weeks in Delhi to go to see this Master Sant Ajaib Singh.
Yes. Well, we wanted to stay for a month in India. So we had booked for more or less a month ahead, yes. But the thing is, when you book a flight, when you have a booked flight, then you have to reconfirm once you are in the place where you want to go. Like we were in Delhi, so we should have gone to the airline agency, the Iraqi airline agency, and reconfirm our flight. But we didn't do it because we didn't know about it. Now I'm thinking, how did I do when I went to see Sant Ajaib Singh? Did I reconfirm? I don't think I did, but somehow I got the flight back.
Maybe it was a different company.
Maybe.
Well, also nowadays I'm thinking, I never heard about this reconfirming, so maybe it was their special rule at the Iraqi Airways.
Anyway, we didn't do it. Eventually the group came, and in this group there was a certain Dr. Molina from Colombia, who was the person who really had the revelation about Sant Ajaib Singh being the new master.
But was he also an initiate of Master Kirpal?
Yes, he was initiated by Master Kirpal, and he was a very good meditator. And in this magazine which I received, there was a letter from him to his daughter, who lived not in Colombia but in the United States. And he was telling to her about, in this letter, about all the experiences he was having with Master Kirpal, revealing to him that Sant Ajaib Singh was to be the next master. When they arrived, really, it was very, very, very special. There was a very special atmosphere, and there was a very special union coming together with these satsangies coming from the United States, and Dr. Molina, who gave us most satsang when they arrived. So we were meditating together eventually. There was also a room in this Bhaga's family's house in which Sanji used to stay when he went to Delhi. So we were meditating in that room, and I always felt very uplifted when I meditated in that room.
So in spite of the delay that you had to stay there 2 weeks, it seemed like a good start.
It was a very special time. Yes, very special, because we sometimes also went to see other satsangis and have some bhajan singing together. So we really came into the atmosphere of this Indian Sangat of Sanji. Yeah, so many very nice events happened during those 2 weeks.
Well, it's interesting, it just came into my mind. that we talked about the karmas, the wheel of life, and the episode in which we talked about free will. Eventually you also said free will, as we think it doesn't exist. So it's not by chance that you had to wait there 2 weeks, so that you didn't right away meet Sanji, but come to know other satsangies and meditate in the room where he used to stay in Delhi, and getting in touch with his spiritual energies by and by, and first not directly from him, but through satsangis who knew him already and meditated with him.
Yes, that's how it was, yes. He was being introduced to this atmosphere, to this energy, which is what Master is. Master is an energy of a certain kind. So by and by we began tuning in with Sanji's energy through all the small and big things which happened during those 2 weeks. So eventually, anyway, the group came, so we took a train from Delhi to Ganganagar through the whole night. We reached Ganganagar in the morning. Ganganagar is the first town you find when you enter Rajasthan from Haryana or from Punjab. These are 2 states of India. So there we were met by some satsangies of Sant Ajaib Singh, and they took us to their house. They gave us food, and eventually with some 3 or 4 jeeps, I think 3, we took this journey through the Thar desert to reach from Ganganagar this village in which Ajaib Singh used to live, that was called 77 Arbi or Satatar Arbi. It was a long trip of 3 hours more or less, and it was really like going through the desert. There were some places there were no roads also. Mm-hmm. You just had to go on the sand.
Wow.
But these people knew the direction, so eventually around midday more or less we reached this Satatar Arbi, and it looked a bit like a fortress. There was a square wall all around this small ashram. It was a small ashram. So there was this big square wall. There was a big gate. So the jeeps stopped outside, and then we went in, and right in the middle of this courtyard there was this man. He was 50 years old, but he already had a very white beard, completely white beard. He have a turban, and he looked very nice man.
So it was personally Sanji waiting for you in the courtyard?
Yes.
Nice.
Sanji was there. So
special welcome.
We gathered around him, and he began asking from Papu the name of these 18 or 19 people that we were. So Papu said, this is such and such coming from United States, this is such and such coming from United States, this is coming from Colombia, this is coming from Italy. He welcomed all of us. Then he joined his hands in greeting, and he just went away.
Well, it all sounds very exciting to me that finally you could arrive to this ashram, to Satatar Arbi, Sant Ajaib, and finally you met this master, and we were so much waiting for to meet him, and so it all sounds very exciting, like the beginning of a great new adventure. So therefore I propose to let's stop here now that we know it, that finally you met this master. But then in the next episode we would like to hear all the details, how it was in the ashram, this first encounter with him. And to conclude this episode, those who listen to the podcast can hear a song about Sant Ajaib Singh, written by Master Sirio and sang by him. And this is in Italian, but I would like to read the translation in English. Glorious Sadguru Ajaib, You are the lighthouse on my way. You have enlightened my mind and made my heart divine. When I came to you, I was a blade of grass, moved by the winds. You gave me the strength to not be touched by the events. My mind was unstable and flickering like a flag. You have made it more solid than a reef. My ego was raging, and it trampled everything. The consciousness was completely groggy and would not awaken. You woke me and animated me, showed me the path and accompanied me. I set off and I passed each hillock. Nothing stopped me until I reached the goal. Now I enjoy the fruits of my labor. I get lost in the void that vibrates and sounds. Glorious Sadguru Ajaib, you are the lighthouse on my way. You have enlightened my mind and made my heart divine. So thank you, dear Master, to be here with me again and tell the continuation of your story. And thanks to everyone who follows the podcast. And I encourage you again to please subscribe, follow this podcast, leave a rating, leave a comment if you like. It's much appreciated. If you have any questions or anything to say, you can do it via the seriopodcast@gmail.com. And next episode comes after 2 weeks. And I wish Merry Christmas and those who celebrate it and happy and nice festivity periods and good holidays for everyone. So you can enjoy this podcast during your holidays.
Sadguru Ajaib, tu sei il faro sul mio cammino, hai illuminato la mia mente e reso il mio cuore divino. Venni da te che ero un filo d'erba, scosso da tutti i venti. Tu mi hai dato la forza per non essere toccato dagli eventi. Venni da te che ero un filo d'erba, scosso da tutti i venti. Tu mi hai dato la forza per non essere toccato dagli eventi. La mia mente era instabile e vacillante come una bandiera. Tu l'hai resa più salda di una scogliera. La mia mente era instabile e vacillante come una bandiera. Più salda di una scogliera. Glorioso Sadguru Ajaib, sei il faro sul mio cammino, hai illuminato la mia mente e tutto calpestava. La coscienza del tutto intontita e non si destava. Il mio ego infuriava e tutto calpestava. La coscienza del tutto intontita e non si destava. Svegliasti e mi rianimasti, mi mostrasti il sentiero e mi ci accompagnasti. Tu mi svegliasti e mi rianimasti. E mi ci accompagnasti. Glorioso Sadguru Ajaib, tu sei il faro sul mio cammino, hai illuminato la mia mente e reso il mio cuore divino. L'ho percorso e ho superato ogni dosso. Niente mi ha fermato finché alla meta sono arrivato. L'ho percorso e ho superato ogni dosso. Niente mi ha fermato che alla meta sono arrivato. Ora godo i frutti del mio lavoro, mi perdo nel vuoto che vibra ed è sonoro. Ora godo i frutti del mio lavoro, mi perdo nel vuoto che vibra ed è sonoro. Glorioso Sadguru Ajaib, tu sei il faro sul mio cammino, hai illuminato la mia mente e reso il mio cuore divino. Glorioso Sadguru Ajaib, tu sei il faro sul mio cammino, hai illuminato la mia mente e reso il mio cuore divino. E reso il mio cuore